Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Facebook Live. I'm your host, Jess.
And I'm your host, Lauren.
And today we have a extra special guest, one of our favorite people in the world. Sean is here to talk about the student community. But before we get into all of the good stuff about the community and what Sean does, Lauren is going to give us a couple Facebook Live tips.
So again, thank you all for joining us today. We want to make this a conversation with us and with you who are watching. So if you have anything that you want to share with us, please leave a comment, ask questions, give feedback, talk about how you interact in the student community. Let's talk in the comments below. But if you do have any personal comments or questions, don't leave any of that information in the very public comment section. Please give us a call. If you're currently a Penn Foster student, you can call Student Services at 1-888-427-1000. If you want to learn more about becoming a Penn Foster student and aren't one currently, you can talk to our admissions department at 1-888-427-6500. And if you feel so inclined, you can like and share this with all of your friends. We'd really appreciate it. So now that that's out of the way, we're going to introduce you to Sean. He's our community manager. He's in there interacting. He's amazing. Sean, I'll let you take it away to talk a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yes, thanks for having me, guys. I've been waiting for my second appearance, so this is great. Of course, as you know, I'm Sean Cares. I am the manager of the Penn Foster Student Community. I've actually been working in that particular role for about 7 years now. It's amazing to have opportunity to assist students and help them, of course, accomplish their goals. So it's really great, and I love what I do. Just to be able to help the students, motivate the students. I think at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
And you do a great job. And, people call you Sean Cares because you do take so much time to really speak with everybody, solve their problems, talk to them about what's going on. And you're a great person to engage with. So if you log into the student community, you get to talk to Sean, which is a big bonus.
Yes.
But on our agenda today, we'll go over what the student community is, why you should join, more about our community chats, which are a cool new thing, and some of the other
Yes.
amazing things that you can find within the student community. So let's dive right in. Sean, tell us a little bit about what the student community is.
Well, the student community is a virtual online platform where you can interact with other students. You have opportunity to, of course, communicate with me and other Penn Foster employees that are actually casually in the community. So it gives you the opportunity to where you get a sense of belonging with other students and help keep the positive conversation going, right? You want students to achieve their goal. You want students to understand that they're not alone while they're actually on this particular educational journey to become successful.
I think that's amazing that, we have something like this because I feel like a lot of people out there probably look at online school and think that they lose that social element. You know what I mean? Not being physically in a brick and mortar school, walking between classes, having classmates sitting right next to you at a desk. You don't have that when you have online school. But the student community kind of bridges the gap there, right? And really, connect students in an online virtual way, which we all communicate virtually a lot these days between email,
Yes.
social media, things like that. I think this is the perfect way to really get that interaction that you're missing.
Yes, it's extremely needed. Of course, you have to understand the social interaction, right? Going to class, leaving class. We've all been there, right? So we've all been in front of an instructor or a teacher and a little afraid or timid to ask a question. So what I like to think of the student community as a judge-free zone, right? So you have an opportunity to ask those particular questions that you typically wouldn't want to ask the professor, the instructor, the teacher. You want to ask like, "Hey, Jess, did you understand that assignment?" Or Lauren, do you have your notes for the biology test? So those particular the make students feel as comfortable as possible and be able to feel extremely confident and comfortable with asking questions, which is most important because, of course, always someone always misses something. So for you to be able to pick on or ask another fellow student is extremely helpful while you're trying to be successful in the program.
And we talk about students a lot. So I did just want to make the point, with it being an online space, there are always concerns on safety, who's in there. Our student community, you have to be a Penn Foster student or a Penn Foster alumni to be able to join and access the student community. So you'll
Yes.
have to put in your student IDs. Sean manually approves everybody who wants to get in there. So, there are no random people from the internet that
Not at all.
are in there. And Sean's monitoring the conversations too to make sure it is, like you said, Sean, a safe space where our learners and our alumni and people from the Penn Foster side, we do have a few instructors in there. Everybody who's in there is supposed to be in there, and no one who's not supposed to be in there is in there. So you can feel free to interact in a way that feels comfortable to you.
That's a very good point.
Yes.
So Sean, there are many reasons to join the community and to engage in there. Can you walk us through a few of those?
Sure. One of the best reasons to join the community, you have an opportunity to interact with other students, right? Like-minded individuals that's actually achieving or attempting to achieve the same goals that you're trying to do. It gives you also opportunity to where you feel a piece of a team, right? You're a part of a team, you're a part of a family. You have an opportunity to a sense of belonging, right? So we understand that it's a totally of online school, right? So we don't have any professional teams or college football teams or anything of that nature, but you have opportunity where you can interact, you can join different clubs that we currently have. We have so many different clubs. We have from the sports club, we have film club, we have the violin club, you name it, we have it. And also what's great about the community is that we may have something that you're actually interested in and we don't have. Guess what? You can reach out to me at Sean Cares and I can actually create that club for you, right? So it works out. And if you're like me, you have opportunity to where you like a little bit of everything. You can actually just hang out in the general lounge and just actually start conversations that range from anywhere from your favorite TV show, Netflix, whatever you would deem as comfortable of a conversation that you would like to have, you can currently have it here in the community.
That's so cool that there's kind of like a general lounge, because when I'm
Yes.
thinking back to like my college days, there was, right where like the Starbucks or the coffee shop was, right? It's on
Right.
campus, and that's where you would kind of like you'd meet people, you'd go past, there'd be lots of chairs and seats, and you could just like jump into a group and things like that. And it kind of gives that vibe. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from how you're
Mhm.
describing it, if that makes
Yes.
sense.
Right. It's one of those things to where it is for everybody. It's not a particular place to where, oh, it's only for certain individuals or only certain students are allowed. No, it's for everybody, right? We're all in it together and we're all trying to face and try to attack all these particular obstacles. And we understand the depths that students have to go through. We've been an online student and we want to be able to let them know that we're here, we support you, and we are what we are needed to be so you can be successful.
I love that. I think, one thing that I know a lot of our learners think about is because all of our programs are self-paced, you really have to
Yes.
work hard to stay motivated, to keep going, to log in, to complete your next course. And sometimes it's a struggle when other things pop up or you're just not feeling it that day. But within the student community, you can connect with other learners and learn more about their goals and talk about your goals and find buddies where you can say, this is what I want to achieve, or how do you stay motivated? How do you create a study space that you feel like you can focus in and you can find that motivation within the community to keep going and push yourself to reach that end goal? That's very important.
Yes, we have so many students that are actually in the community and they're looking for accountability buddies, right? So they're looking for
Yeah.
someone to give them that little edge, a little push in the back to complete their programs, right? And of course, everyone's actually hyperly competitive. So just to see someone completing their goals or getting towards this particular chapter, this particular lesson, it motivates other students to want to continue their particular assignments. And the great thing about the community is that because it is self-paced and we have so many different students, we have students that are single parent moms, we have parents, we have students that have full-time jobs, and they're unable to do the brick and mortar school time frame. Is that whenever you are able to go online, the information stays there so you can actually view the information in a timely fashion that's comfortable for you. So it's beneficial. So we have, I call the night crew that's online at 2 in the morning, right? And we have the early morning crew, the early birds that I call them, that's there at 7 a.m. So we have a spot for everybody. Information actually stays there for it to relive, for you to make it to where it's a oh, okay. It makes it there for it. It's a community there for you to where whenever you need to call on them, they're there for you whenever you need it.
That is so amazing. That's like a piece of it that I've never really thought about, that, it's there whenever you can log on. And, if somebody said something at 2 a.m. and you jump on at noon, you can respond with like how you're feeling. And it's just like an ongoing, continuous conversation, which is amazing. But speaking of that, I kind of want to switch gears a little bit and talk about something that's really cool that is brand new. And Sean, you
Yes.
can speak to this. So like you're saying, there are times where, you can't jump on at a specific time and those things stay there. But we have just launched these brand new community chats that are
Yes.
actually kind of the opposite of that. And all happen at one specific time. So, Sean, can you talk a little bit about those and why they're so cool and important?
Yes, it's extremely cool. So what we actually have, we call the live chat. So it gives students the opportunity to meet and talk with me every Thursday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in real time. So if you're available, you actually can actually communicate with me. I respond directly back to you, as well as other students. We actually have had two great particular topics so far. It went really well with the particular chats. One was, of course, being able to how to get the most out of online learning, right? So we have opportunity where other students can chime in and utilize and give their tips on how they're actually being successful as being an online student. The second chat was how do you stay motivated, right? So that is extremely beneficial for our students to want to know exactly how can I stay motivated while I'm actually facing this online journey to become successful. So it's extremely beneficial. And then I also like to add, we've actually integrated the gamification, which is to give you the video game element to where you can actually receive points and also receive a particular badge by participating and being engaged in our particular live chats.
I feel like the live chats are cool because it's that one time where we're asking everybody to come into the community at once. So, um, if you want to talk to people live and get those quick responses
Yes.
and really like engage in kind of that back and forth in real time, it's a chance to do that and relate to people all around that one topic of the week. So they've been happening weekly. Check our Instagram and our Facebook. Jess, correct me if I'm wrong, for all the info.
Yes.
We usually post there. We'll post a topic there. And then if you log into the community on Thursdays at noon Eastern time, you'll see those discussions. And then to Sean's point about the ones that we've already had, you can actually look back in the community conversations. And even if you
Yes.
weren't able to join live, you can see what was shared in those. So if you're looking for tips or motivation, you can look back through those conversations and see what others suggested, which is pretty cool.
Really cool. And you're never too old, right? You're never too old to want to receive a badge, right? How cool is having a badge underneath your nice profile picture, right? So I think it's extremely beneficial. It helps, and it helps with joining the conversation, keeping the conversation going, positive, and motivate each other, which is all about. We leave no student behind in the student community, right? So, and I think it's extremely great because we have just the other day, I have so many students that actually have graduated, and they're alumni and they're still here because because of the connection that they actually made through the online community. They want to assist other students to get to that particular threshold. So I think it's extremely important. I think at the end of the day, the ultimate goal is for me, when I look at it for what I do, is that I feel as though even though it's as little as what I do, it'll always be attached to someone's and their hard work and their achievement, right? I always say there's two things that'll always be in your house, or you know where it is, either your birth certificate and your diploma. So you'll never forget about us,
True.
right? You would never forget about us, and for that we live on. So I think, it's something that really, makes me sleep really good at night, just helping someone achieve their goal.
That is incredible, Sean. And I feel like too, it's 2023. We've all been ingrained in the internet and the social aspect of the internet, whether it be,
Yes.
you know, social media, dating apps, jobs that you do online. Making connections and friendships with people online can be literally so fulfilling. Like you could
Yes.
be in
Mhm.
Atlanta, Georgia, or you could be in San Francisco and you could make a friend who lives on the complete opposite side of the country or the complete opposite side of the world, and get to experience, meeting somebody new that you never would have met in person because of the distance. And I feel like that's a really amazing part about the student community, is it really bridges all of our students into one place and gives them like the common ground of being a Penn Foster student, but then they can talk about things, like you're saying, all of the different clubs and all of the different the community chat topics. Another thing, if anybody has any good community chat topics that you think would be really cool, drop them in the comments,
Yes.
because we are definitely taking suggestions and we would love to base community chats around your specifics. So let us know in the comments if you have any good topics. But I think all of that is absolutely amazing, Sean, and we are so grateful for that you do what you do, and all of the students within the community are so grateful too. And don't say anything just as little as what you do, because what you do is huge.
Yeah, I get it. I've never is, with me is never as no I in team, right? And just to be able to reach out and communicate with the students. I want to say on last week I had an opportunity to meet this wonderful student. I'm not going to put her information out there, but just with the testimonials that our students leave, just to give you a little background, she was in a particular field for 15 years, and she was tired of coming home and her feet is hurting and her back is hurting, and so she made a change. She made a decision to change careers. So how brave is that, to change careers after 15 years? So who would I be if I didn't give her 110% and make her feel comfortable with transitioning into a new career? And I think that is what the student community is all about. We're all together, we're all for one. And the importance of what we need of each other, right? A wise person always told me, the only thing that's wrong with your dream is that you're doing it by yourself. So I just try to resonate with that while I'm helping the students in the community. So it's really great.
Someone cutting
That's
onions in here? Jeez,
I know.
Sean.
This is why your Sean cares for sure. So, Sean, obviously the community is the place to be. You're the person to talk to. How does one join the student community?
Yes, well, you have two options. The first option, you can actually join through the student portal. The second option, you can actually go online to community.pennfoster.edu and you can actually fill out the application. Of course, just remember, guys, that you put in your student ID number to where I can approve your account and give you access.
Amazing.
Perfect.
That is awesome. And just to make sure, I mean, obviously we've said this a couple times, but once you're in there, you can log on 24/7, 365, any time of the day, any day of the week, and chat with students, right, Sean?
Yes, right. And of course, you can always at me, right, which is at Sean Cares, and I will actually get to you guys as soon as possible, to make sure everything is to where you need it to be. I'm as flexible as can be. If you need assistance, I am the person to make sure that you're in an appropriate space to be successful.
Thanks so much, Sean. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for joining and talking with all of us today. You shared so much great information about the student community, what people can find within the community, about our community chats. Another plug to look
Yes.
out for those on social media, and then log into the community and chat live. And how to join. So thank you again for all of that. To all of you watching, this is your sign. If you're a Penn Foster student, go log into the community at Sean Cares. Talk
Yes.
to him about this Facebook Live. Talk to him about anything on your mind. Join a club, join a chat, and we can't wait to talk with you all.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for being here, and we will see you next time.
All right.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
everyone. See ya.